root end, and it's got a major split in it. This was before I just drilled it out, and it's a major split on the root end, and I'm like, is that even worth saving? So I'm gonna work on it, and, just to show you. If nothing else, it'll be an exercise in how to shape the root end, the shakuhachi, or my technique for shaving the root end of a shakuhachi. I've got a close-up here of it just so you can see. I've worked that spot right there. And I'm doing fine-tuning. Take my favorite little hako and a clamp, and I'll clamp that to my bench, and I can do fine tuning there. But for heavy duty work, it really helps to have two hands for this, and it's basically draw filing. It's a delicate dance, or delicate balance of holding this tight but not doing damage. I have these very soft pine jaws here. Bamboo is very hard, so it shouldn't be an issue, but just showing you the technique of basically draw filing on a root end shakuhachi. If you haven't noticed, I like the Kizin style, which is a shaved root end style, and there's different ways to do that. This is my favorite, with a file. Has been for many, many years, maybe decades. This is the technique. No Dharma talk today. I'm going to keep the Dharma talks on the other channel. That's Zenken Shokunin. Zenken-Shokunin. Zenken Shokunin. That's my other channel. I'll put a link in the description, as always. But that's basically it. Kizurine style. I like the aesthetic of it. Everyone has their own preferences. Some like the very rustic look where the root end is still got, you know, scraggly little spindles coming off of it, little root branches. So it looks like they just pulled it out of the ground. That's Japanese. There is a aesthetic concept called Shibui, S-H-I-B-U-I in Romaji. Shibui means beauty that is close to nature, or beauty that's close to its natural state. And that's related to Mufon Betsu. Holy crap, I'm doing a Dharma talk, aren't I? I was just going to be like, I'm just going to show you guys this, and I end up doing a Dharma talk. Not really a Dharma talk, but just telling you guys some of the different aspects of what's going on with shakuhachi. So if you see it, you're like, why are, how come some shakuhachi, they look like it was just pulled out of the ground, and some shakuhachi look very refined? Well, shibui, it's highly regarded in Japanese culture, at least it used to be. My concept of shibui is a little different. But still, the handle on my favorite hand file is just a branch from my backyard. This one, that's a mess. You'll see this stuck through a hole in my workbench on a lot of my videos. And I've turned this on the lathe, and it's really nice. I really like it. It's a great file. It's been my go-to for years and years. It's really showing some wear. but I still like it. But the difference between this and this is shibui. Now some people will say, oh, well, you can still see the natural wood, and that, so there is some aspect of shibui. Where this one, it's obviously it's got the bark on it still, you know. So it's different. Shibui is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. So for me, this is still shibui. It's still beauty that is close to nature. It's just a little more refined. And if I can save this root end, I'll show you how, probably another video, how I fix that crack. So if there's anybody watching these videos, let me know in the comments if you think this is worth saving or not. I'm just wasting my time. And as I let you guys know in a previous video, while it might seem a little subtle, you may hear a sound difference. It's not the same sound forward and backwards. I'm not scraping forward and backwards. I am just slightly releasing pressure, putting pressure. Releasing pressure, putting pressure. Still making contact, but there's no pressure. And you should be able to hear the sound difference in that. Files only cut in one direction, so having the same, it's more efficient to release the pressure, and it's just you're really not accomplishing anything on the backstroke. Like I said, this vise, you're holding round stock, any kind of round stock, it is a godsend. It really helps. You can see this. I'll show you this. But I will, when I'm cleaning this, I'll put this up against the edge and just kind of pins it there, and I push forward. The teeth. Back at it. Some people think you need power tools. I've gotten away from power tools so much. I have them in my workshop, but most of them are in desperate need of some TLC, and just it's not a priority for me, so that it's kind of on the back burner. At this point, it's just background noise, but just background something to look at in the background, you know. It's just not used that much. Ooh. That delicate balance. So it's like I don't want to tighten up too much. But again, it's basically a video showing you my technique for draw filing the root end, shakuhachi, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, would anybody want a flute with that big old crack in it? You know? Should be able to repair it. Question is it worth saving? Would anybody want a flute like this other than me? And this is one of the things I like about crafting shakuhachi, is that it is a very tactile thing. Your fingers, there's a lot of data coming back from the fingers to the brain, which you don't get from the visual. A friend of mine up in Oregon is a master sword maker, Michael Bell. And when he got into sword making, he was living in the Bay Area of California at the time. It was, I think it was Haight-Ashbury, if I remember correctly. He saw this old Japanese guy cleaning up his sharpening stones on the sidewalk outside his little shop. I think it was Haight-Ashbury. That man was named Nakajima Muneyoshi. Nakajima Muneyoshi, before he passed away, was a national living treasure in Japan. He was sent by the government to bring back a lot of the fine blades that were taken by GIs to the United States. So Michael Bell, by chance, runs into this old guy, Nakajima Sensei, and asks him, "Oh, what are you doing?" And so he says, "Oh, you know, in this thick accent, you know, I make swords, I repair swords." And so Michael Bell says, "Oh, you know, I repaired a sword, you know, maybe, you know, could I show it to you?" And Nakajima, hoping that it was one of the fine blades, said, "Of course, bring it over." So Michael Bell did, and he said that he had found this, or picked up relatively cheaply, this old gunto, this old World War II military blade. I think apparently it was homogeneous steel, monosteel. It was worthless, or not. At that time, it was worthless. Now they still fetch money. But it had a huge bend in it, so Michael had straightened it out as best he could and polished it up as best he could. And he thought it looked pretty good. It looked straight. If you looked at it, it was straight. So he hands it to Nakajima. Nakajima takes it out of the sheath. Alright, he's got the sword and he takes it out of the sheath. And he just went zip, and he ran his hands over it like that. And Michael Bell knew at that instant, as soon as Nakajima Sensei went zip, he felt the bend. Because then the second time he went, stop, right at the bend. So, and he was just mortified. He said, like just without words, a lot was communicated right there. And so in a similar way, your fingers are very tactile. You can tell what you need to do where. You really can't do that with machines. So, also your ear, you may hear a sound difference right there. So it's not just your eyes that are used in crafting this. It is your other senses. So, and I think that's one reason why generically you see woodworkers who will start out with power tools. A lot of times they switch over to at least some hand tool work because, whether they realize it or not, there is that tactile thing going on. James Krenov used to talk about that. You're getting into woodworking, great place to start is the Impractical Cabinet Maker. James Krenov, I think that's the title. Impractical Cabinet Maker. Anyways, so it seems like James Krenov had a similar concept where there's this tactile working with your hands. It's different. There's a very famous, was famous for making chairs, passed away years ago, Sam Maloof, another guy to Google, where he made these beautifully, these beautiful rocking chairs and Windsor type chairs, where everything just seemed to melt. Right? One joint seemed to melt into another, and I think that's again from this tactile concept. And maybe why I like the Kizin style. It's just a more tactile experience with the shakuhachi. Musicians really only care about the sound, mostly. But if you're choosing a flute for spiritual development, meditation, stress reduction, any of those types of things, I think you're missing out if you don't take those other things into consideration. Even through the file, I can feel changes in the bamboo. It'll tell me. Bamboo talks to you, you know? One thing I don't want is I don't want a perfect tactile experience, because then it's missing. That tactile experience, I think, is missing. So there should be a hint, a ghost, a phantom of the fushi, of the nodes, in my opinion, that you can feel when you run your hands on it. I think that adds to the experience. So while I want it to visually look appealing, I also want it to tactilely be appealing. That makes sense. So, what do I go for? So no Dharma talk, but just a talking about, just talk story. As my shakuhachi master used to say, Stephen Strout, up in Portland, born and raised in Hawaii. He used to say, come on over, talk story. If there's any Hawaiians out there or Howleys, talking story. This is real-time shakuhachi crafting. I don't think it takes that long. You got TikTok brain, maybe it's not done in 5 seconds and I think it takes too long, or if you can't do it on a 3D printer. But, my advice to you is that you are missing out on an experience. And I hear the kids these days, I don't know why I do the air quotes, I hear the kids these days have the FOMO, the fear of missing out. So, kids, you're definitely missing out on experiencing life, experiencing one of the aspects of life. Shakuhachi are not exactly the most popular or famous thing in the world. But used to be used as a vehicle for enlightenment. The Komoso, the Fuke sect, Zen sect of Buddhism. I still think they are a great vehicle for enlightenment, or at the very least, some kensho, some enlightening experiences. Yeah, if you're into woodworking, you haven't gotten into hand tools, I recommend them. Again, for that enlightening experience, that tactile messaging from your hands to your brain. That's where we're at. Right there, and I gotta get up in here. And oh, poor bamboo. I can fix it. But the question is it worth it? What do you guys think? Here's that other one I'm working on. I'll show you from comparison. This is still, now I'm I'm mostly in the bore on this guy. We'll see how the nodal placement turns out. All of that. With it. So, you guys know. You guys know what you think. Alright, I'm gonna crack on. Talk to you guys later. Bye.